certainly what's taboo in life, for Bridget's grandmother is quite different. So the messages that are being communicated through her mom into her head are quite different, and so on. So the young women who are coming up now, they require different things, and they expect different things, and they ask to be treated in a different way and to be respected in a different way. And it's their time. They'll define things in a different way. And sure, it's wonderful, isn't it? But that's always that's always the case. It's wonderful as society evolves, and certainly, we change with the times.
So Bridget Jones is someone that women of every age, everywhere can relate to. You see, I'm talking to you all the way from Brazil, where she's such a beloved character. Why is she so relatable for so many women?
Well, I think we all, and I don't know that it's just women, I think just people in general see themselves. She sort of reflects our experiences back at us. We see ourselves in the chaos of her life. We see ourselves in her vulnerability and her imperfections, and ultimately in her finding happiness despite the messiness of the execution of the plan. It's inspirational. And Helen describes sharing her personal experiences through these characters as, a conversation that you have with your best friends about the things that embarrass us most and our deepest fears. It's really a lovely, intimate exchange that you share with this character. And I think that's why she's, been endearing to so many for so long.
I think it has to be because it starts, and ends really with Renee and how Renee has played her over these years. Because Renee doesn't come from anything from vanity. And I think so often when we watch, great actors or actresses play, great roles, there's a lot of emphasis on how beautiful they are, how well they dress, how they, carry themselves. And it's almost like, separate to the character sometimes that they're playing. They just, oh, look how gorgeous, like this. And Renee, who is absolutely, beautiful and radiant, like in her life, she plays Bridget as a real person. She always has. The way she sits, the way she walks, her hair, she's constantly making choices that make Bridget feel like a real person that you or I would know and hang out with, be friends with. And I think that's why she's so approachable for so many. And by the way, not just women, men too. Like, I identified with Bridget very clearly when I first saw the first film, because as great as like the Daniel Cleaver character, the Mark Darcy character, I found myself drawn to the one that falls down, and gets up again, or, like slips on the, in the, that's me, and it's her. So I think that Renee quality, that thing that she's brought to this character I think makes her really, really likable for so many people.
We have so many special reunions and first encounters in this movie, and these were my favorite parts. What was it like behind the scenes when shooting this?
Just so much fun. I think it was just the best environment to go to work. Everybody, I think, honestly, Renee set the tone, and she was the example of how one should be at work, and how one should make other people feel at work. And it was just, a fun environment. Everyone got on. Everyone, just had a laugh. And we were, at the end of the day, I think everyone appreciated that we were making a Bridget Jones movie. It's like, it's such a special thing. It's such a joyful thing that you get to do, and I don't think anyone took it for granted.
No, we did have a nice time. And it's like a big reunion with old friends, and those on-screen friendships translated into real friendships because we've shared this experience for 25 years. And it's a really special, day at the office. I think it's a couple of new friends. It's wonderful.
because it was really important to me to tell her story in such a way as this is the last chapter, in her story, that you just knew from watching the film that her future was warm and bright, and and that she's landed in a place that is happy, and it's not just about her biological family who are all there with her, and it's about the extended family, like all the people that have populated her life for these 24 years. Yeah, the behind the scenes mood, it was like a party. Like, it was honestly like a party, and it just made it all really special to film.
But sometimes those memories are suddenly
Bridget!
all we're left with.
And since we're talking about reunions, Colin Firth and Hugh Grant are in this movie, but not in the way we're used to seeing them. Well, Daniel is kind of a fun uncle now, and Daniel is gone, but there. How was it to direct both these iconic characters and actors, but in a different dynamic?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was bringing back, these crucial parts of the early films, but as we are now. And tragically, as we are now means that Mark Darcy is gone. That's just the basis of this film. But at the beginning of the film, Bridget is not, she's not approaching grief, the way that she is by the time the film is over. She hasn't let go of that thing. She just tries to keep Mark as present as possible. So it's very important for me to present him in a real way at the beginning of the film. And, Colin has such a deep love of this franchise and of Renee personally, that it was a very special experience actually shooting those scenes with him, because there was a real melancholy, I would say. Like, it was full of love. Those scenes that he plays with, it's so full of love, but so cut short. And that's sort of the story of him in this film. Whereas Daniel, Hugh Grant is a comic genius. Like, he's absolutely one of our, who knew? He's one of our not just funniest actors, but he's a wonderfully funny writer as well. So everything that he did was so layered with so many levels of Daniel Cleaver, and his Daniel Cleaver is just absolutely himself. So it was just really fun to push that as hard as we possibly could in his scenes.
My God, I've climbed a magical man tree.
Hello.
So, Chiwetel and Leo, we spent all these years with Mark and Daniel fighting for Bridget's affection, but in this movie we have two new love interests, Rockster and Mr. Wallaker. Was there any pressure to sort of fill in those shoes, and how did it feel to be one of Bridget's lovers?
Yeah, there was definitely pressure to try and live up to Mark and Daniel, but they are irreplaceable, so you kind of gotta just take the pressure off there, and you just appreciate what a joy it is and what a privilege it is to be dubbed one of Bridget's men, and we had such fun, and I'm incredibly grateful, and I'll cherish that time that we all had.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It was just, first of all, these great parts, they're all great parts, and that's the thing. It's like, so there's no real need to sort of chase after, the sort of the absolutely irreplaceable Daniel and Mark, because these characters, Rockster and Mr. Wallaker, they're so fascinating in and of themselves, and they bring such sort of different energies to the story, and I loved playing the part of Mr. Wallaker. I just thought it was a great part in a really great, funny and emotional script, So I had a blast. I thought it was fabulous.
Renee, you've been playing Bridget Jones for over 20 years now. We've seen society change a lot since then, new habits, new challenges. Do you feel like Bridget Jones has evolved with the modern woman, and how so?
Well, just like the rest of us, you know? Of course, it's an inevitability. I mean, society changes because the norms change, because the young people coming up question everything and demand that things change. And inevitably, you know, in life, you're never the same person as you go forward and with what life throws at you, you know? And certainly what's taboo in life, you know, for Bridget's grandmother is quite different. So the messages that are being communicated through her mom into her head are quite different, and so on. So the young women who are coming up now, you know, they require different things, and they expect different things, and they ask to be treated in a different way and to be respected in a different way. And it's their time. They'll define things in a different way. And sure, it's wonderful, isn't it? But that's always that's always the case. It's wonderful as society evolves, and certainly, you know, we change with the times.
Whoa.